lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work, triple play, yeah.
This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball. We're back, people. Another season based off our success from last year. I'm your host, Coach James Lewis. My co-host, Jacob Dunne, is not done. He's dealing with some health issues, and we're praying for him to get back. He would love to be here, and I'm sure he'll be back sometime soon. So I'm going to run a little solo for our first year. It's a lot of jam-packed first week, a lot of up and down performances. Of course, this is the biggest week kind of for free agents because some people like last year was like maybe Tyrese Maxey or Jalen Brunson, Will Barton, players that come to mind were steals for that first week, and a lot of people that got them rolled them out for the entire year. So here we are, week 2. We're trying to prep you for week 2 fantasy basketball. Some of these guys that you see right here may have been picked up. Just to run through what we're going to do here, Triple Play Fantasy Basketball is we'll go over games played for the week, which this week everybody's played 3 or 4 except for one team. That's the Sacramento Kings. So if you're a Swipe of Fox owner or a Doma Sabonis, you're going to have to find your statistics in other ways, and we would shy away from possible pickups. Maybe Harrison Barnes is sitting there, your free agency. Still waiting on Keegan Murray. I'm a Keegan Murray owner myself, still waiting for him. We'll go over our pickup candidates, our drops, our bubble candidates, safe guys, streams, watch list, and then at the end we'll select somebody for our performance of the week. Our pickups this week that we're recommending, and by this time Sunday morning, a lot of these guys may or may not be there anymore. But Isaiah Hartenstein, the starting center for the New York Knicks, Jalen Duren, the rookie from the Detroit Pistons, has been wowing in his somewhat limited action. Santi Aldama, the starting power forward for the Memphis Grizzlies, and then 2 Jazz players, and Walker Kessler and Kelly Olynyk. We're recommending you to pick them up today since they go back-to-back on a Sunday, Monday, depending on what statistics you need to stream for. Ayo Dosunmu, starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls. He's 64% rostered, so it's going to be hard-pressed to find him in your free agency. But if he is sitting there, especially after 2 performances where he wasn't wowing, I would recommend picking him up. The first night, he had 17 points, 6 boards, 4 dimes, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals, and a block. He filled it all the way up, and it shows you what he's capable fantasy-wise with Lonzo Ball out for the foreseeable future. Zach LaVine, which, he got the bag this summer. It really wasn't talked about that, the knee wasn't fully healthy, and they ramped him up, and he hasn't played yet. So that's kind of a head scratcher and worrisome. Ayo in 3 games, he's point guard, shooting guard eligible. It's giving you 10 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 2 threes, and a steal. That's rosterable, but he's shooting 40%. I could see that and moving up. Watched him play against the Wizards, our hometown team over here. He was impressive. He didn't quite fill up the box score, but he is a winning player, and he's locked up that starting position. Speaking of starting position, Santi Aldama, with Jaren Jackson Jr. out for, who knows, January earliest. He took the starting nod over, Brandon Clark, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Brandon Clark hasn't seen 20 minutes or plus this season, which is kind of a head scratcher. A lot of people picked him up expecting him to get some of that fantasy production at the beginning of the year, but it falls in the lap of Aldama, who is power forward center eligible, 68% rostered. So yeah, he was kind of one of the hottest free agent at the beginning of the week to get picked up. He's giving you 11 points, 9 rebounds, giving you a 3, giving you a block. The first game against New York was the most impressive. He had 18 points, 11 boards, and 3 3-pointers made. Much like Ayo Dosunmu, his minutes and his statistics have dropped off in the past 3 games. So that's something to definitely watch going forward. Where did they just have an opening night barrage? All right, Jalen Duren. He, yeah, of course, he's the rookie from Detroit. He's playing backup center behind Isaiah Stewart, but he's a rebound machine and he's a block machine. So in his 2 games, he had 14 points, 10 board, 3 blocks against Orlando. He's posterized players, unmentionable, put him under the rim. He's athletically, he's outstanding. He will boom on you. He's not going to give you much other than those rebounds and blocks, but he's going to shoot a high percentage, and he's not afraid to shoot it. In the 2 games, he's shot 21 shots. So if anything happens to Isaiah Stewart, or they just say, hey, we're going to let the young guy play a little bit more, if he's averaging like 24, 25, he's certainly rosterable in any league and format when it comes to 12 teams, and he's 53% roster. So you can find him in a free agent wire. Isaiah Hartenstein, he's a little bit more versatile because he can throw in some dimes here. That first game against Memphis, he had 16 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, and a block. Against Detroit, he had 3 stocks. So he does a little bit of everything, and he's definitely winning over the minutes. And when Tibbs likes a guy, they play him. He's an underrated signing in the offseason, and you can find him in the free agency wire. So I definitely recommend Isaiah Hartenstein if he's there. And in the ESPN, he is power forward and center eligible. Walker Kessler. The positions and eligibility, it's super frustrating to me sometimes with seeing these players. It's like a player like Walker Kessler is power forward, center eligible, but yet Kelly Olynyk is not. And Kelly plays more of that 4 position. So harping on 2 Utah Jazz guys, and if you have Utah Jazz players and like Mike Conley, they're eating this year. Kelly got in foul trouble that first game. He played 15 minutes, but in the second game, he played 35, and he had 21 points, 5 threes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 stocks against Minnesota. So he can really fill it up. Again, if you have a claim for Sunday, pick him up. He'll play Sunday and Monday, as well as Walker Kessler, depending on what you need. If your categories league and you need some blocks, go with Walker Kessler. He had 4 blocks against Minnesota, and he was a college Gobert last year, averaging 5 blocks a game, and he's going to bring that into the league. He's impressive around. Yeah, he doesn't average 120 blocks a game. Yeah, he's versatile. This move on Jokic under the basket was impressive, and I think that there's going to be contenders trying to pick up Olynyk, and if he gets moved and Walker Kessler gets some more minutes per game, he's going to be a lock for a top 10 leaders in blocks per game, and somebody that you need to roster. People you just got to get rid of. Tari Eason, so promising in the summer league and in the preseason. He's not playing enough. Steven Silas is not going with the young guys, and unfortunately, even though he probably should be playing, he probably should be starting, he's not playing. DeAnthony Melton, it's just not enough minutes there in Philly. With Maxey and Harden, it's hard to get him in the game. Now, if an injury happens, definitely pick him up, but he's not going to get you enough minutes to be roster worthy right now. Reggie Jackson, he plays a little bit more when John doesn't play, but right now I don't have room for him on my roster. Jayshawn Tate hasn't played this season. I would kind of put him on the watch list, so when he does become available and see how many minutes he does play with the new people at his position. Mo Bamba's not getting enough minutes in Orlando, and I don't see that happening unless we have an injury. But if the minutes do come, Mo Bamba is definitely a roster guy with the way he hits threes and blocks shots. Kuminga, not enough minutes. We'll see if injuries happen there. JaVale McGee just not doing enough, and Christian Wood is playing very well for Dallas to start the Senate. Fool's gold, Cam Reddish balled out that first night and even had the 3 to put it in overtime. Game number 1, but I feel like he did that last year. If you picked him up, drop him immediately. Bubble candidates and moving over to pick him up. Isaiah Jackson finally played more than 20 minutes. He played 22 minutes and got 5 blocks. He had 16 minutes in the previous 2 games. Even when Miles Turner getting injured in warm-ups, messing with the mascot or whatever happened there, we would like, as fantasy owners, we would like to see him get a little bit more shine and a little bit more playing time because his blocks per minute is, outstanding, may lead the league. Brandon Clark hasn't played more than 20 minutes, hasn't played a game with 20 minutes, and that's worrisome because he is a solid fantasy contributor. When he does play, Jalen Suggs, he's injured again with the ankle. He looked very impressive in game 1, was lighting it up from 3, and then boom, he hits another injury. So Cole Anthony is definitely, you want to ride that wave while he is out right now. Bones Highland, we're expecting to jump. Right now, to me, he's more of just a stream. He's not getting enough minutes, and until he makes that move forward, I just would keep him on the bubble and stay away from him. Our safe candidates, Terrence Ross is playing a lot of minutes in the 3 games. He's played 35 minutes, and 32 minutes. And just yesterday, Saturday night, he had 29 points and hit 5 threes. He might be a stream because he's only 10% roster. You can kind of find him anywhere, but he's playing a lot. Any person that's playing, 35 minutes a game, typically are safe to start. Tyus Jones, we know his great assist to turnover ratio, but he's hitting threes and shooting a lot more of them this year. I streamed him yesterday. He hit 2. He's had at least 2 3-pointers made in each game. Will Barton, I'm still on the fence with him. But last year he averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 threes a game. He's not going to shoot you out anything. He shoots pretty high percentages, but I think he's still trying to find his role in Washington. But watching him, he just brings something to the team and doesn't, he's not whining or complaining that he's coming off the bench. In fact, he's bringing energy, toughness, and there is going to be games where he will produce. Kevin Love, he's still rebounding at a high clip. He's still hitting threes against Chicago. He had 5 of them. He had 15 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and he only played 23 minutes. He's only playing 22 minutes a game in the two games, but he's safe because he's going to rebound, he's going to hit some threes, and he's going to shoot well. Royce O'Neal, he's 28% rostered. In 2 games, he has 9 stocks. He's not scoring or doing anything, but he's playing a lot. He played 39 minutes, and then he played 34 minutes. Pat Bev is giving you a whole rock of stocks as well, and not much more than that. He's shooting porous. We saw the stat with him and Russell and Dunne shooting like 1 for 23. I don't see that continuing, but I do see him as kind of a lock as a starter. And there are definitely worse candidates than Pat Bev. Right now, don't roster him, but keep him in mind, especially when you maybe need to stream for swipes. Going on to our stream candidates, Lonnie Walker IV, he had 26 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, 2 3-pointers made, 2 steals versus the Clippers. Didn't do much in game 1, but he's starting and he has the opportunity. That's kind of how he is. He's hot and cold. We saw that for San Antonio last year, so you catch him on the right day, but he is frustrating to own. Malik Beasley, he's still a sniper from deep. Max Strus, you're streaming, you're thinking about threes on a Sunday. Those are 2 guys that you always can look to. And when Strus gets it going, Miami lets him play, and it's 2 or 3 games he's had 20 points. And, of course, in that first one, he hit 5 threes. Andre Drummond for rebounds and nothing else. But he's going to give you rebounds when he plays. Our watch candidates, Alexei Pokachevsky, PoKu. He was on my, hey, pick him up. Because the first game he had 11 points, 7 boards, 3 assists. He had a couple threes. And at the end of last year, we saw he was diming up like crazy before the fantasy playoffs, and they shut him down and stopped playing. But then he had 0 yesterday, so I don't know what to do with him. I'm not telling you to pick him up. I think watching something else is the Hornets' big situation. Without Miles Bridges, what are we gonna do? Who's gonna play? Miles Plumlee's gonna give you a week 10 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists. Nick Richards, 18 and 10 the first night he's playing the backup big. We would like Mark Williams to get some opportunity, because he could be scary if he actually plays with his blocks and rebounds potential. And then Jalen McDaniels is just solid, 8% rostered. He's going to give you okay numbers. I'm not saying to pick him up, but like that position is one to watch. Performance of the week goes to Paul George, PG-13, dropped a 40-piece. Ty Lue put the ball in his hands, and he delivered in a 2-point win at Sacramento, 111-109. He had 40 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 16 to 31 shooting. Hit 2 threes, 2 steals and a block. No Kawhi, no John Wall. He's our performance of the week. That's our fantasy basketball show. I hope you enjoy. We'll see you next week. My boy Jacob, it might be Eric Mendelson, Doc. You've seen him on many different videos, but we're going to deliver you a show each and every week, whether it's solo or whether it's a tandem. Until next time.
Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work, triple play, yeah.